Okay, สวัสดีครับ Let's review what we learned today. Okay, welcome back to the fundamental of AR, VR, and MR class. It's me again, Kamin. So, anyone remember what we did today? Okay, let's see. So today is the first time that we play with the ARFoundation package inside the Unity. So many of you said that I talk too fast in the class. So today we're gonna take it a little bit slower. Let's see. So let's start with looking at what we have to do. Maybe along the way, let's play some jazz, okay? Nice. Okay. So for today's assignment, we have to use the ARFoundation package, right? And then we're gonna create the Unity app that visualize the detected surfaces. Also visualize the point clouds. And then we're gonna display the marker where the camera is pointing at. We're gonna get into the scripting a little bit for that. And then we're gonna spawn the object at the marker when the user touches the screen. So we have to detect the input, right? And then we're gonna also play with the animation and the animator a little bit. Okay, you guys ready? Okay, we are not gonna sleep today. First thing first. Okay, let's see what we have to do. Okay, we have to import the package first. You guys still remember how to do it? You go to the window and then package manager, okay? And then here, as you can see, it's not showing. Okay, it's just show everything. Anyway, let's see. Is that the ARFoundation here? Yes, we have here. So we can click install. Okay, not too hard, right? Come on, man. Okay, and then this gonna depends on which mobile device you have. So for me, I have iPhone, right? So for the iOS, we use the ARKit XR plugin. While if your phone is using the Android, then you can download the AR Core XR plugin instead. But in this case, I'm gonna use the ARKit XR plugin because I use iOS. Okay, so I click install here. And don't forget, just connect your laptop with the iPhone or with your mobile device like this. The music is a little bit distracting. Anyway, so right now I have successfully import every packages that I need. So, okay, what's next? We're gonna try building the app first, okay, onto my phone. So I click file, build and run. Oh, actually I should go with build setting first. Okay, when I click on the build setting, you can see that like this is a scenes in build. So you can build a lot of scenes inside one project, but then you have to select which scene you want to include into the build. Okay, in this case, I already opened the sample scene here, so I can click add open scenes into the list. So now this scene is included in the build. So it's like you can have a bunch of scenes. Like maybe you want to test something, you can create a new scene and test on it, and you're not necessarily needed to include those scenes into the final build. Okay, and then next you select the platform. In this case, I want to select the iOS, right? And then I click switch platform. So when I click it, you have to wait a little bit. And as you can see, the Unity icon will appear here. That represents the platform that you are selected. Yeah, what's next? So this is gonna be different based on iOS or Android. In my case, I'm building onto the iOS. So you have to do a little bit of research here. I believe if you select Android, there will be a new tab appears here, which you can select. You see, right now I'm selecting the iOS settings. If you include the Android module, for those of you who confused a little bit about what do I mean by module, if you open the Unity Hub, right, you can click on this tab in stores. These are different versions of the Unity that you install in your laptop, right? And you can see there are several icons which say that like I have installed like these build support for the iOS, for Mac, and for Windows. So you can add the modules here, and you can select Android build support here, and then when you click done, it's gonna install the Android build support in case you want to build onto the Android mobile phone, but not in my case. Okay. So now let's go back to the player setting. I click on the player setting, and then this window will appear. And I believe first thing first, I have to check. Where is it? Where is it? I think you have to change the architectures from universal to ARM64, and then the minimum iOS version has to be 11 to use the AR kit. And then what else? The camera usage description. So you can just put anything. For some reason, it's required you to, input this one, or else you cannot build the app. I think maybe that's it. I'm not sure, but let's try. So when I click build and run, you can create a new folder called builds, and then I'm gonna build the app called build 1. So essentially, Unity will try to create the Xcode project here, because if you want to install or build an iOS app, your own iOS app, Apple only allows you to build it through the Xcode only. So that's what the Unity is trying to do. It's trying to create it's trying to convert the project you have been working inside the Unity into the Xcode project. Okay. So it said that build fail. Most of the time, you have to click on the Unity iPhone here to display this page. This is the like a project setting page, and then you can click on this tab, signing and capabilities, okay, and select the team. So this is about the credential, just for the security reason that Apple require you to do. So just select the team. If you haven't created an account yet, just create one. You can create it for free, and then you can select here. Just click on the automatically manage signing and select the account that you just create, okay? And then I believe you can you can build the app now. Okay. Okay. Right now I succeed building an app. Okay. So, okay. Now to share the mobile screen. Okay. Okay. So right now, my Unity app is successfully built onto my iPhone. So at least, so for those of you who use the Android, I think you should try to make it work until this point first before moving on, okay? So right now that you have successfully built your first Unity app into your mobile phone, now let's play with the AR, right? So right now you have import the package, right? You remember? We have import the ARFoundation and the ARKit XR plugins for those of you who use iPhone or iOS. And for those of you who use the Android, then you're gonna import the ARKit plugin instead, okay? And once you import, now you can create a new type of the game object, which is there here inside the XR folder. So these two are the main characters, okay? There are AR session origin and AR session. So just add these two. So for the AR session origin, this one is gonna act like okay, how to explain it? I think let's go with the AR session first. AR session is like the manager that's taking care of everything. So it's just have the reference to the AR session or itself. It's gonna try to update everything. It's also have some input manager. So you don't have to care about it that much. You just knows that you have to add this AR session just to act like a manager, and it will just do everything by themselves. Another thing is the AR session origin. So just think about normally when you create a scene, maybe you have familiar with the world position, right? But then when you play with the AR technology, the positioning can be different. The positioning system, you may say. In this case, there's another character which you have to know, which is the session position, which will be different based on like every time that you instantiate or when you start the AR application, every time you start, it's gonna create the session area, right? And the positioning is gonna reference to that like session origin kind of. So that's what the AR session origin mean is like a reference point or the origin point for the session positioning system. And inside you can see the cameras. So right now that we have the AR cameras, we can just delete the main cameras, okay? Because the cameras that we're gonna use is just the AR cameras. I think, I guess right now it should work, right? But just to save some time, we're gonna create the AR default point cloud and default plane. Because of what? Because of like these two bullets. So we want to visualize the detected surfaces, and we want to visualize the point clouds. So the package that you just import at the beginning have already provided these two for you, the AR default point cloud and AR default plane. These two will deal with those things for you. So let's create these two, okay? And the way to use it is to create prefabs. You still remember how to create a prefab, right? You just drag the object here, and now that I have the prefabs, you can just delete these two objects in the scene. The reason is that like you don't have to, you know, like have these two objects in the scene at the beginning, because there are AR default, no, point cloud, no, yes, point cloud manager. Yeah, so you have, oh, actually, I think you have to put it inside the AR session origin. I think that's the way to do it, I think. Okay, and you can also add the AR plane manager. So these two managers gonna deal with instantiate, like they're gonna instantiate these two prefab for you. This is how, just how things work. This is just how, you know, like the ARFoundation package are designed. Okay, it's just how things work here. So you just have to remember it, and maybe some days will change. So just, you know, like just keep looking at the documentation. Maybe someday it will change, someday it will like maybe when it doesn't work, just try to figure out, maybe read the error messages will tell you what to do. Okay, but now that I have added these two managers, AR point cloud managers and the AR plane manager, into the AR session origin. Okay, so in the class maybe I did it wrong. I added into the AR session, which maybe it's not supposed to be that way. So once you add, don't forget to make the reference, right? You just drag the prefab into these variables, just finish making the references, and I think we are good to go. So we can start building onto our mobile phone to test. Okay, let's see. It might take a while. Oh, okay, it's almost finished. I hope that this tutorial won't be too long, but you know, because the build time could take a while, and so I'm gonna minimize, you know, like I'm not gonna try to build onto my mobile phone too often. Okay, but right now I think it works. Okay. Okay. As you can see, the point clouds. So point clouds is like a tool that like the ARFoundation used to like try to figure out the world, try to figure out the features in the scene, and then the computers will try to analyze those point clouds and try to figure out this like the surface based on that, right? But now we have finished the first two requirements. Okay, so right now you guys can see we have visualized the point clouds and the detected surface. Okay, good job guys. Okay, so next thing, what else do we have to do? We want to display the marker where the camera is pointing at, right? Make sure that it aligns with the detected surface. Hide it when the camera isn't pointing at the detected surface. Also, make sure that the rotation of the marker always point to the same direction as the device camera. So first thing first, try to understand what the instruction wants you to do, okay? And because I have shown you in the class, so I'm not gonna go slow for this one. You can like pause the video and start working on like by yourself if you want to go slower. But anyways, let's do it. In this case, first thing first, I'm gonna create a folder called materials. And I have prepared the ad set, the marker. Okay, this is a PNG file, and I have to check this one. You see, alpha is transparency because this photo, this image it's a PNG image, and actually it also contains some transparency inside the image. So in order for the UD to support the transparency inside your image, you have to check this one. Alpha is transparency. Okay, you check it, you click apply, and then you can see now it works. And then I'm gonna create the new material called placement indicator. Okay, I'm gonna change the shader to unlit because I don't want it to get the effect. I don't want it to get effect from the lighting inside the scene. And then you can use this one, transparency. And then I'm gonna drag and drop the textures here. Now I get the materials ready to assign to the 3D object. So the 3D object that I'm gonna use, I'm not gonna use a plane because of what? So the plane, even though it has just a few triangle, in this case, is I think the 3D object that has the least triangle vertex. I think triangles would be the right thing to say in this case, but quad has the least triangles, which is already enough for what we need. Okay, we're gonna use the quad, and then I'm gonna assign the material. Okay, I'm gonna just decrease the icon here. Okay, as you can see. But the things that you have to be careful a little bit is that like quad only has one side. So it's, although it kind of looks like a plane, but it's a plane that support only one side. So when you rotate the cameras to the back, it disappears. Anyway, I'm gonna rotate by 90, but I'm gonna also create the empty object called placement indicator and use it as a parent of this one. so that, you know, like when I want to move things around, I'm gonna move the parents instead. And as you can see, it's a lot cleaner, it's easier to deal with, because the position of the parents and the rotations are just like default, right? Or else we're gonna have to deal with, you know, like the quad, which you already rotated 90 degrees on the x-axis, and then it's gonna get more complicated when you deal with its position and rotation. Okay, so now I have the placement indicator or the marker ready to be used. Okay, and then I'm gonna create the script folders. Okay, and then let's see, let's call it surface checker. Okay, we have created a new script here. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna just go into creating a new position placement post. Okay. So what do we have to do? As what I told you in the class, we're gonna use the ray tracing. So ray tracing is like you shooting the laser gun out, because the thing is, like, we want to display the marker where the camera is pointing at, right? And before showing the marker, we have to make sure that there's a surface. So the idea behind it is to use the ray tracing to shoot the laser. So ray tracing is the tool that helps you to detect the collision. That's basically what the ray tracing is. So you shoot the laser, and if the laser hits something or collide with something, then you can tell the program to do anything you want, which in this case, if it hits the surface, then we're gonna display the marker, if that makes sense. Okay, so first thing first, we need to get the position of the center of the cameras, right? Okay, let's create the screen center here. We're gonna use the cameras, current, and then viewport. I think to screen point. Okay, so it's just gonna transform the position from viewport space into the screen space. We're just gonna prepare the point from the screen to the I think we have to put 0.5. I think it's 0.5. It's 0, I think. Okay, because we want to get the middle of the screen, or the center of the screen. The next thing that we need is the array list of the AR ray casting. Oh, by the way, I think before using everything inside the ARFoundation package, you have to import it first. So .xr.ARFoundation, I think. I'm not sure if we need anything else, but I'm just gonna import everything just in case. Experimental.kr, I think. No, XR. I'm not sure if we need anything else. AR subsystem, maybe. I'm not sure. Let's see. But anyway, now we can create an array list of the ARFoundation head. Okay, I'm just gonna finish everything and explain it again. Okay, array ARFoundation head. Okay. And then I think we need the reference to the ARFoundation manager. And then in order to use a function inside, which is raycast, okay? And let's see what are the parameters that we need. First thing, we need the array. The second thing is the array list that we want to store the hit results. Okay, because when we shoot the laser, it can hit several objects. So this array list is gonna contain every object that hits. Not every object actually. It's gonna contain the class or the data type of the ARFoundation hit. Okay, of every hit, every collisions, or like every hit's gonna get collected into this array list. Okay, and the last thing is the type, the trackable type, or the type of things that you want this raycasting to detect. In this case, it's a surface. Yeah. So first thing first, no, we want it to point into the screen center, and then we want it to what is hit, and then trackable type. As you can see, there are many types of things that you can detect, right? But in this case, I'm gonna go with the planes, so you can play with the different type of the trackable type. Okay, now I think so. Now this is the important one, right? Because the result when the laser hits with anything, they are gonna be stored inside this array list. Okay, and then we gonna have a boolean called canPlace to detect whether we can place the object. So canPlace equal to hit dot count greater than 0, if that makes sense. Because of like, if it's hit with any surface, it's gonna add that hit into this array list, right? So it's gonna, like the size of the array list is gonna be more than 0, or in other words, it's not gonna be empty. So when it's not empty or greater than 0, canPlace is gonna be true, right? Okay, let's explain again. If this raycast find a surface, this one gonna be true, because the array list that contains result is gonna be greater than 1, the size of it. Yeah, just try to, just try to follow me, okay? And yeah, then let's go. We have if else here, right? So, okay, if so we should have another private variables with the type post. So pose is a representation of position and a rotation in 3D space. It's almost like a point, but not only contains the position but also the rotation, which in this case we're gonna use it to show the position and the rotation of the point that we want to spawn, or yeah, that we want to spawn the object. Placement pose equal to hit 0 dot pose. Okay, if that makes sense. So when the raycast found the surface, then this will become true. So it's gonna go into this case, right? And then we're gonna get that position and rotation and store it inside this placement pose, so that we're gonna use it later. Okay, and okay, I'm just gonna fix this one. So for those of you who remember, at first in the class, after we finish until this point, I tested on my mobile phone, and what I found is, you know, like the marker on the screen doesn't adjust the rotation based on where the camera is pointing at. It just, you know, like keep pointing toward the same point, which is the origin point, which is not what we want actually. And to fix that, we have to, you know, like rotate it by the code. So first thing, we have to get the camera direction. Actually, it's the vector tree type. Camera forwards equal to camera's current. I think it's transform and forward. So it's gonna return a normalized vector. You guys still remember what is a normalized vector? It's a vector that only contains the directions, not the magnitude, right? So this normalized vector representing the blue axis of the transform in the world space, or in other words, it's just the forward direction of the cameras. It's pretty straightforward. But then again, we want to get only the x-axis and the z-axis. Because of what? Because of, let's say, if this is the arrow, right? So let's say the cameras point toward this way, okay? I'm not sure if you can see it, but we want to adjust the y rotation a little bit so that it's aligned or go parallel with the floor, because, you know, like the marker is supposed to just be like a, you know, like a plane that always align or parallel with the floor. Okay, you will see what I mean, but in order to do that, okay, I'm just gonna convert it to camera bearing, then we vector tree. So we're gonna use the camera forward dot x, and then for y rotation is gonna be 0, and then c, and again I just want a normalized version of it because I just only want the direction. And then placement post rotation, we're gonna change into, you know, like a quaternion. The rotation is gonna always look into the direction that we just create. Yep, I think we got it, right? I think we got it. Okay, and then right now at the end, what do we got? What do we got? So we already got the placement post, right? Every frame is gonna update everything, and the key result, the result that we need is the updated version of the placement post. We're gonna use it to update the position and the rotation of the marker in this case. So let's create another variable, another function. In this case, let's say its name update target indicator. And then it's gonna be called after update placement post. Okay. Okay. So once it detected the plane, what do we want it to do? So first thing first, we want to show the placement indicator, right? If you go back to the instruction, because we're gonna hide when the camera isn't pointing at the detected surface. So in this case, we're gonna hide the placement indicator. And then for this case, if it detected the surface, it's gonna show the placement indicator and also update the position and rotation based on the placement post variables that we just created. Okay, if that makes sense. And in order to do that, we need the reference to that game object, which is the placement indicator. So we placement indicator set active to true. While in this case it's gonna be false. And then we're gonna update the position, transform the set position and rotation to what the placement post dot position placement post dot rotation. Okay, so let's see the result, shall we? I think another thing that I forgot, I'm not sure. I think I'm supposed to check this one, require the ARKit support. Okay, I think I can build it now. Oh my god, it's already 11 p.m. So for I have extended the deadline to 6 p.m. this Friday, so that, you know, like for those of you who has some problem building onto your mobile phone, you can borrow your friend's laptop and you can use it to build onto your mobile phone. Okay. The same problem again. Where's the marker though? Oh, I see. So right now the marker is very, very large. Okay. So there are two ways to rescale it. Right now, so actually, okay, this is the placement indicator, right? And one unit inside, so this is a scale, right? One unit inside the UD equals to 1 meter in the real world. So you can either rescale it to, let's say, 0.1. Another way to rescale it is to keep, like just the default scale here, and instead increase the scale of the AR session origin. So AR session origin is something more like you can look at it as not only the origin point but also the reference for the object inside of it. So if you increase the AR session origin, in other words, you make the thing inside looks smaller, if that makes sense. So in this case, maybe I will increase the AR session origin instead to 10. And let's see what will happen in this case. Okay, done. Okay, it's better, I think. At least it's smaller. But okay, that's the surface. For some reason, the position is not updated. For some reason. Oh, silly me, because of I haven't even add the strip into the scene. You know what? Okay. I'm gonna create the empty object called script manager, and I have to add the component here. Oh my god! And then I'm gonna add the raycast manager because that's what I need here, and the placement indicator. Okay. Oh my god. I can't believe I forgot to add these things. I really hope you're excited with this assignment, but yeah, like you have to find a way to build onto your phone first. That's a big thing. Okay, anyway, right now it works. Yes, yeah, right now it works. Okay, nice. It's nice, right? I think it's not bad. Okay, now the last part of the assignment. Okay, we're gonna spawn the object when the user touch the screen. So yeah, if else can place. Okay. First thing first, check whether the player, oh no, if the ray tracing detect the surface. Okay, and then we're gonna detect the touch, which in this case we touch count at blank more than 0, which means there are touches detected. Okay, at least one. And then the next thing, because like multi-touch, you know, like the player can touch like 10 fingers at maximum. They can touch 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever. At least, so at least one touch. This statement gonna be true. And the next thing is that like we want to get the touch. No, input get touch something, and then 0. Okay, the first touch phrase. So touch phrase. So you can, there are many touch phrase that you can detect like began when the player begin to touch, okay, or when they cancel, when they end the touch, when they touch and they move or whatever, or when they touch and just stay right there. In this case, it's called touch phase. Stationary. So you can look into the documentation, but in this case, I'm gonna use the touch phase dot began. Okay, so now the player touches the screen, spawn the prefab, right? So we need at least one prefab spawn object. So we're gonna instantiate it, right? Spawning object, position. We're gonna use the placement post.position and also the rotation, right? Okay, don't forget, you know, we're gonna create a cube here. We have the cube, we have, I'm gonna create the empty object also, spawning object, okay, and then I'm gonna set as the cube's parent. Anyway, right now I have the cube ready, and I'm gonna drag the spawning object as a prefab and delete it. And then for this script, don't forget to make the reference, okay? Okay, let's build. I think we did everything correctly, right? Let's see. Okay. Okay, not bad. Not bad, right? Okay. I think we are done. Maybe. Ooh. Ooh, not bad. Not bad, right? Okay. So the last thing, animations as your request. Animation. Okay, I'm gonna drag the prefab into the scene first, and then the animation. I'm gonna create the animator controller. You still remember the difference between animator and animation, right? Animator controller will control the animation clips. Okay, in this case, spawning anim controller, whatever, animator. Okay, and then I'm gonna drag into this prefab. Okay, and you guys still remember how to open the windows, the animator window and animation window, right? Just click on window, animation, and here the animation and animators windows. So once you open it, these are animation and animator windows. When I select, so once I drag the animator into this object, you can see that it will appear here when you open the animator window. And for the animation window, you can hit create a new animation, click idle cube. Okay, so as you can see in the logic tree, right now we only have one animation clip, and once the game starts, it's just gonna go into this state automatically, and it's just gonna keep looping this animation, which is what I want. Okay, and okay, go back to this animation window. You click add property and select the property that you want to animate, which in this case is the position. You still remember the keyframe, right? At the beginning, start at Y position 0, and then you click on the record button here to add a new keyframe, and then I'm gonna move. Actually, you know what? Okay, let's do something differently this time. Add property of the cube, transform instead. Okay, let's do this. And then move the cube up a little bit. Okay, and I remember Gan asked in the class how to, like if you want to add more frame into this timeline, you can just scroll to the right and you can see that it depends on you. If you want to extend, if you want to make the animation clip longer, you can do that. But for me, I'm good with just like 1 second in this case. Okay, and right now I think I already have everything I need. Okay, another thing that I want is the cube transform and scale thing. Okay, and then the scale in this case I want it to be 0.75. Make it slightly smaller at the middle. Okay, like this. Yeah, I think it looks good. And okay, if you remember when I did it in the class, and the position the spawning position kind of mess up because of like these transform, you know, like inside this animation we try to change the position, right? We change you know, like these things will override the position that we wrote in the code, in the script. So we have to make sure that instead of, you know, like changing the like inside this animation clip, instead of changing the position, the world position, we want to change the relative position instead. So you can click it here and apply root motion. Okay, I think that's it, right? And then don't forget to override the prefab. Okay, I think that's it. And let's build the game. I think we are done. I think. Okay. Okay, let's spawn the object. Okay, I think right now it works like what we want. So congratulations, you have finished this tutorial, hopefully. And you know, like don't forget to submit it by the end of this Friday's class. Okay, try to figure out how to build the app onto your mobile phone. If you have problems, like let's say if you use Windows and you want to build onto your iPhone or iOS device, then you know, like maybe you have to use your friend's laptop, your friend's MacBook to build instead. You know, I'm sorry it has to be this way, but I really hope you have learned something, and I really hope you are excited with the upcoming group projects. Okay, and yeah, don't sleep too late, and have a good night. Bye.